Brothers and sisters, welcome to our today's program. We are the 23rd of April 2020. My name is Odon Bulamba. I'm going to share with you briefly some news that Congo has been going through today. And I'll also add up around the end of it a little bit of comment. So without wasting time, let us go straight away to remind you that if this is your first time to watch our videos, we invite you to subscribe to our channel, YouTube channel, Leo Njoleo, and then don't forget to click on like at the end of the program. Do not also forget to click on the bell, which is down there, so that every time if we are online, you can also watch us live. Today I'm not going to talk really a lot, but I'll just give you a few points and we'll straight away start with the first one. Where is Felix going to take control of his security apparatus? That will be the first point that I'll bring to you. So the Congolese army branch that is known as the Presidential Guard has a new commander. His name is Major General Christian Songe Tshiwewe. Mr. Tshiwewe has just replaced Ilunga Kampete, a loyalist of Joseph Kabila, whose name appears on the European Union sanctions list. Tshiwewe has been an officer of the Presidential Guard Army branch for the past 20 years, I believe. He led also the military aspect of Etienne Tshisekedi's funeral in 2019 and was the head of the Legion of Honor, as we usually say it, Legion of Honor. So briefly, that is it. And Mr. Tshiwewe, to be appointed, is it a success or a failure for Tshisekedi? We do not know. But what we know is that someone has been replaced by someone else, and let us see, let us wait and see what the future will bring to us. It's a good thing for FELIX Tshisekedi to have someone as a leader of the Presidential Guard branch of army, to protect him, to protect the presidential family, the presidential office, the presidential, political family, which is good. But it's also good for civilian Congolese people to have also those who will be in place to protect them, to have those who will fight and stand for their own protection, as our country has been going through a lot. And people, Congolese people, day after day, most of us feel unprotected in the country, especially in the eastern part of our country, the DRC. So this will take me to the second news, and here I have to talk about the National Assembly, where several plenaires for the March 2020 session will be held in video conferences. On the 22nd of April, a meeting of the Conference for the Chairs of the parliamentary groups was held. The rapporteur of the National Assembly, Célestin Musao, said or reported, apart from the sessions relating to the consideration of the request for an extension of the state of emergency, there will be plenary sessions on several questions, including the hearing of the Ceni report and the report of parliamentary investigations. And I will come back to this in a few minutes to talk about how the parliament is going to question the Ceni report. Ceni is a commission, electoral commission of the Congo, so it's known as Ceni. How are they going to do that? How are they going to question that report? How are they going to investigate at that report? And I'll let you know why am I saying this now. As the National Assembly considers holding their next teleconference sessions, Wi-Fi kits have been distributed to members of parliament. As read on national television, RTNC by Yamba Yamba, the President of the Republic granted the Parliament an exceptional opportunity to meet only to rule on the extension of the state of emergency, despite the ban on all gatherings of more than 20 people. Note that the state of health emergency decreed by Chilombo expires today at midnight. So let me do some comment on the topic that I was telling you. The parliament is going to meet, not in one big hall, but their session will be done, the plenary will be done via teleconference, where each of them will be maybe in his office, back home somewhere, but they can communicate to discuss, because the law doesn't allow them to be more than 20 people in one room. And the purpose of their meeting is to discuss different options about the election, different options about the parliament issues, but also about the election that was held in 2018. So that's one of the points which will be talked about. And you understand what I want to say. But before we understand where they're going, let us go a little bit back to remind you the history, the past of that Ceni which has crucified the DRC through the 2018 electoral result. With results questioning due to a lack of respect for existing control procedures, Ceni abused its institutional position during the elections of the 30th of December 2018 in DRC. On the night of 10 toward 11 of January 2019, the Independent National Electoral Commission, that's Ceni, published the provisional results of the presidential election, ending 2 years of waiting because Kabila was just holding onto the power. If the announced victory of the opponent FELIX Tshisekedi, candidate for the platform CAP for Change, marks a political alternation at the head of the country, Martin Fayulu, the candidate of Lamuka, the other platform of the opposition, cried out for electoral haste. On the face of it, there is nothing more than normal than the verdict of an election to be contested by one or more of the stakeholders. However, on closer inspection, Ceni's figures cause problems as to their origin. Figures that question. Since the 2000 elections, the Congolese electoral law has undergone several changes in order to bring ever more transparency and efficiency in the electoral process, especially in the procedures for traceability of results. Those at each polling station are recorded in minute. The minute here, I'll call them just PV. which are sent to the local result compilation centers, where the candidate witnesses are also admitted. Once the compilation is completed and verified, the consolidated PVs are sent to the Ceni National Processing Center for National Consolidation. Excuse me. This is a procedure that has always prevailed since the 2006 elections, and which was even recalled by Ceni in November 2018. While several compilations within local centers are not yet complete, Ceni announced the results of the elections. How do you understand that? How do you get that? This procedure offers the advantage of allowing each candidate, before the provisional publications of the results by Ceni, to introduce administrative remedies at the level of the compilation centers following material errors found. This stage of the compilation procedure explains the opposition of some stakeholders to the use of the voting machines, apart from its illegality for the 2018 election. While several compilations within the local centers are not yet complete, Ceni announces the result of the elections. Where does Ceni get these numbers from? One plausible explanation, despite the discrepancies between manual PVs and the announced result found by the Electoral Observation Mission of the Catholic Church, (CINCO), remains the illegal use of PVs from the voting machine. This irresponsible choice of Ceni should logically lead to the annulment of the election, as was the case in Kenya in 2017 for similar problems. Moreover, refusing to publish the results office by office as required by the law, Ceni refers everyone to the Constitutional Court or Supreme Court of that time. The latter is referred to the court in legal action. As an electoral judge, it is open to him to request a manual counting of PVs. The case law in this area should apply to all three elections on 30th of December. Of course, Ceni has got some responsibilities. Indeed, Ceni has also applied the same recipe to national and provincial legislative elections. In addition to the usual subject of litigation, electoral judges will find themselves dealing with mathematical calculation, if you want, that administrative remedies would have been avoided. With regard to the two legislative elections, the PV recount will focus both on the votes obtained individually by a candidate, but also on the collective vote of each political group in the running. Indeed, several candidates were not elected in their constituencies solely because of the threshold of collective eligibility not reached by their political grouping. This situation could lead to a complete recomposition of the various assemblies. I would say that Ceni's maneuver was not for a haste, but for a real electoral coup. More than the institution itself, it is the man, or they are men who composed it that make its reputation. The particular situation facing the DRC today is largely the responsibility of Ceni's leaders. After bloodletting throughout the electoral process with questionable enlistment, inequities, non-compliance with the timetable and partial deployment of the material on election day, the ambush is brought with the announcement of the results. Similarly, on several occasions, Corneille Nangaa, the president of Ceni, has made false statements to public opinion and international institutions about the non-use of voting machine results. By not respecting the laws of the Republic of Democratic of Congo, despite the various public commitments made by its presidents, Ceni has abused its institutional position. It is maneuvering not for a haste, but for a real electoral coup. On this tune, I would like to say that, let me comment a little bit if you want to. As an institution that was really respected, has been respected by all Congolese, an institution which also is supposed to honor our country, to make our country to be respected, to make our country to be called democratic. This institution, Ceni, has been mucking around since the election of 2006, followed by that one of 2011, and this one of the 2018. Men and women who are the leaders, who are officers of that institution, have made our country to kneel down, have crucified the Republic Democratic of Congo with their poor decision. Because of their decision, let me just talk about the later election. Because of their poor result, or poorest result, their dead consciences. Today, many Congolese are victimized of that procedure that they choose to use, putting aside the normal procedure of the Ceni and embraced or hugging a new procedure that will crucify the country and will respond to the need of some people outside there, or a group of people. And that's where the matter starts. Today, Congolese have been living, breathing death. Death has become like a shade of their country, of their lives. There is no peace in the country. People are dying with famine. People are dying with wars. People are dying in different ways. People don't sleep because of worries. And all of this could be avoided if these men and women who are representative of Ceni could use their brain, could use their love for our nation, they could use their consciousness for the love of their country. This could never and ever happen if they could decide to serve the country and to follow the rules, the electoral rules, which were set for this purpose. Unlikely, they didn't. That's why since 2018, I've been saying that Corneille Nangaa, who was the president of Ceni, was the one who crucified the country. We know that Judas Iscariot was sure that the country, Jesus Christ, I can sell him and he will defend himself. Therefore, he sold Jesus Christ. I can imagine that scenario. Maybe because he saw Jesus Christ performing a lot of miracles. Okay, I can sell him. I can betray him. And then he will overcome that later on by his own. And Corneille Nangaa, to please maybe that team of Kabila, to please that team of those who have been wanting to destroy the Congo, he sacrificed the whole nation. Blood of millions of Congolese since that election is on the shoulders of Corneille Nangaa. Millions have died since then. Wars in Beni, wars in South Kivu, wars in North Kivu, wars in Katanga, wars in the eastern part of the country, wars in central part of the country. A lot of disasters. Many things which could be avoided if this election was right and correct, if this election was not corrupt. But he preferred to sacrifice the whole nation because he was bribed. And the shocking thing is that in order to become a member of parliament, you have to bribe. To become a member of parliament, you have to give $50,000, that's to be accepted as a candidate, and you have also to fulfill other criteria, which is fine. But on top of those $50,000, you must also prepare a package of bribing Ceni, of bribing Corneille Nangaa. If you don't bribe, even if people voted for you, even if people of the Congo voted for you, they bid for you, you won't get that seat in parliament. You must bribe. Meaning that he was only promoting bribery. He was promoting corruption rather than promoting the right of Congolese. As a result, today, 90% or more than 90% of our members of parliament are corrupt. And they are members of parliament because they bribed. They used corruptions to buy that seat. They are not representatives of the people, but they are only representatives of, you can understand yourself. Same thing was done for the Senate. To become a Senate, you must pay $100,000 to be accepted as a candidate. Furthermore, you were also called to bribe to secure a seat. They did the same. And you found 90% of the people in Senate, more than 85% of national members, members of parliament at the national level and provincial levels, 90% of those people were members of FCC, the political platform of Kabila. Of course, they had money. Of course, they have been there for 18 years. You'll understand because, yeah, they have those means, so they bribed. And Corneille Nangaa accepts that bribery. I don't know for who, but he accepted to crucify the country. We know that he was working for Kabila. We know that Kabila has had influence, or had been having influence on him. Then in parallel, he put there another team of lawyers, magistrates if you want, or judges, who can intervene in case of any type of conflict. And those were also not elected, but nominated by Joseph Kabila. And they were his people. So for those who could complain, they were told just go to see the judges. And of course, you'll get the same result. Furthermore, Corneille Nangaa did what he did. Those who are representing us today are not the choice of the people, but those one are saying now they are going to debate on the result, on the report which they received from Corneille Nangaa, the report that they received from Ceni. What type of report will be that one? What can you imagine about that report? it will only talk about corruption and corruption and corruption, isn't it? That's all that it will talk about. And they know that they bribed, they know that they are corrupt themselves, and that report is talking about them. If they defeat that report, it means that all of them, or 90% of them, will end up in jail. Maybe they will be rejected. Maybe they should never and ever be members of parliament. So how are they going to talk about that? How are they going to question that report? What does that report concern their wrongdoing themselves? They are the accusers. Cornenang. We have been talking about these people, members of parliament, who were bribed. But I will also remind you, I spoke about all of this from 2018 towards the end, up to 2019, I think. I would also remind you that those voting machines were not the will of the Congolese people. We were against those machines. We stood against them. And of course, politicians who called themselves the opponents of Lamuka and many other groups, they also stood against those machines, against the usage of those machines, against the use of those machines. We said we are not going to vote with them. And Kone Nanga also confirmed those machines won't be used for the 2018 election. Shockingly, a few hours before the election, or a few days before the elections, those opponents turns 108 degrees against the promises they used to tell people. And they started to convince Congolese voters to go ahead to use those machines, to vote through those machines, and in case any corruption or anything would happen, would go wrong, they were ready to take the case to court. Because of our trust to those people, a blind trust, I should even say, we accepted their proposition, and people went to vote knowing that those machines are just there to trick us. They are not the right machines, but because we trusted those men and women of the opposition, we end up to become what we are today, where you can see armies of other countries crossing the border and starting to control our land, our people, killing them like a cricket, killing them like a locust, doing whatever they want to do, kidnapping them, raping them, and many other things which are not right. And all of this is a result of those elections. If the election was really right, if those procedures were respected, if bribery couldn't take the lead during those elections, today Congo will have a different picture to what it is now. Our leaders of the opposition misled us because they were also corrupt. As we are talking now, they are drinking their wines, their children are studying somewhere, they are attending a good school somewhere, their wives are ruling, are driving in very nice cars. They have everything they need, while the population of the Congo has nothing. They left us with nothing. As I said before, it's like Judas Iscariot who sold Jesus, believing that Jesus will defend himself. And this is a similar scenario. They sold us, believing that, okay, as Congolese people said, they are not going with those machines. We will try to convince them. Let us have money, let us have glory, maybe let us do this and that, and the people of the Congo will defend themselves. they set a trap toward us. So I wonder if those people are the opponent of Kabila, they were the opponent of FCC, or they were the opponent of us poor people, as a citizen of the country. And finally, what happened? As you know, or as you may know, we have to come up with a lesson. We should, pull a lesson from this. From the past, we have to learn something new. The experience of the past should teach us something. We, the Congolese people, we should never and ever trust those people. Cursed is those who put their trust in men. We should never and ever trust these guys. And we should also learn how to say no. And when we say no, we should stand in that position. Our no must remain no. And our yes must remain yes. Not to say no, and after 5 minutes, because someone comes to influence us, then we change and we start to say yes. We should stand on our feet. And our no should be a no. This is a lesson that we have learned. They have lied to us once, they have lied to us twice, they have lied to us 3 times, but this 4th time we have to stand on our feet. And remember that we shouldn't trust them. When we see something suspicious, something that we believe will lead us to misery, to disaster, we should just abstain ourselves and say, no, we are not going for this. For our sake and the sake. It's what should that? They come to us, they give to us those type of flatteries, and then we find ourselves that, okay, we don't have hair to brush or to comb. We look stupid, isn't it? We do. So it's time to wake up and to say no. No to those who have been governing us. No to those who tricked us yesterday. No to those who will not fight for the well-being, peace, joy of the Congolese. We need those who will stand for the right of Congolese people. Otherwise, we'll continue to say no. Congolese people are sharp politics, excuse me the term. Today we are victims of many things. Countries to come and start a war in our country. And the only pretext they use, we are after rebels who left our country 25 years ago, 35 years ago. We are coming to look for them in the Congo. We see people from different corners of the world coming to loot our minerals. They come and they do it. And our governments cannot stop them, because also they are corrupt. Even if I talk about the president of the republic, actually, he was also elected, not even elected, nominated through the same channel with the same Ceni. Meaning that if the parliament will say, okay, let us stop, let us review what Ceni did, as a result, you know what will happen? And the president will be into it, the parliament will be into it, everybody will be sacked. And as a consequence, you know what I want to say. Maybe I will do that small video after this, maybe for a few seconds, to talk about that. But we, the people, I will say, we Congolese people, we have the leadership of our country in our hand. We have the power. Power is in the hand of the people. Power is in the hand, resides in the hand of you and I. If we say no to those armies, then they will leave our country. If we say no to those who come to loot our country, then they will stop and leave. If we say no to the dictatorship, then it will end. And you don't need to say no through politicians, through members of parliament. No, it's just you and I to stand and say, no, enough is enough, and you'll see a big change. Are you ready to stand and say no for the sake of your life, the sake of your country, the sake of our children, and the future generation? This is a challenge that I leave in your hands for you to make a step, for you to make the right decision, a decision which will save your nation, a decision which will save your country, a decision which will change the course of things. May God bless you. Before I finish, someone asked me about the death of the President Kagame, President of Rwanda. Personally, I don't really mind if Kagame is alive or if he passed away. What I may say is that I'll be more than happy to see the death of this system, which has been killing Congolese, which has been making us to be victims of a lot, victims of their protagonism, if you want, or victim of their actions, which are not good actions, dirty actions. If I see that system dies or dying, then I'll be more than happy. Because today Kagame may die, and someone else will come and replace Kagame. Will play the same role as he has been playing. This is normal, isn't it? But if that system dies, then victory will be for all of us, and Congo will be completely free. And that system does not only include Kagame, it includes a number of people. It's like a chain, if you want. Pieces of, those bad doers has built that long chain. So if that system collapses, then we'll see better result, and then I will be more than happy. And of course, Kagame is a human being. Anytime, any day may die. It's normal, because everybody will die. So his death won't really bother me, to be honest, not. Those rumors have been going up and down. We can't stick our nose into that. But what I will tell you, if Kagame passed away, no matter what they do, it doesn't matter for how long they will keep it secret, but that secret will still come out. And when officially they will communicate it, I will let you know. On the other hand, they have told us that Vital Kamerhe is sick, he's in prison and he's sick. Vital Kamerhe is a chief of staff for the cabinet of the president of the Republic of Democratic of Congo. He's sick in jail, in prison. And newspapers wrote, many journalists have been talking about him to be a victim of poison. Possibly, yes. But personally, I'm not a doctor and I haven't read yet the diagnosis or, again, the consultations that he did with the doctor to proclaim it. Once again, Vital Kamerhe also is a human being. Yeah, he can die. He can die. He didn't come to live eternally. He may also end, his life may also end one day. That is normal. That's normal. So what you have to do is to remember that death can come at any time. God is in control of that, not me, not you. And if he dies, what does it change? To me, to you. But if he left behind good things, he has been fighting for our country, he has been fighting maybe for you, for me, for the next generation, and then we'll say hooray. But if he has been doing the contrary to that, then it won't really harm or hurt a lot of people. So that's what I wanted to tell you. Our Congo is one nation, is one country, and will continue to be one. If we love each other and we hold our hands together with our contribution, putting far away from us, regionalism, tribalism, and other things, then we'll be winners. May God bless you, may God bless me, and I hope that I will talk to you again next time. It was Odon Bulamba who was presenting to you this news. Good morning to you, and we wish to you all the best. Thank you for the trust that you have been giving to us. Thank you, and catch up later. Goodbye.